Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to Wrestling Daze Reviews. And we are reviewing this week's NXT. And I've got to tell you, straight out of the gate, I thought this was brilliant. I really enjoyed this episode of NXT. And I must admit, it's been a while since I've been able to say that, but we got really great action. We got about three fantastic matches that I would quite happily go back and watch again. We got some big moments. We got a few surprises as well. Like, this was a joy to watch for 2 hours. This show just was a joy to watch. Like, I really enjoyed it. Undoubtedly one of the best NXTs I've seen this year. One of the best NXTs I've seen in quite a long time. And I just cannot wait to see what they do next week. They really have impressed me this week. Let's get into why, though. Let's talk about why they impressed me. And let's start with the first match. Now, first thing was that we went straight to the action. There was no entrances. All the competitors were already inside the ring. And it was going to be Katana Chance and Kayden Carter taking on Nikkita, Lyons, and Zoey Stark. Now, I like these two, the champions, because they're a proper tag team. They've been together a long time. They've got some real nice tag team like maneuvers where they work together. And it feels like they're a proper tag team rather than just two solo stars that have been chucked together. And a little bit of Zoey and Nikkita felt like they were two solo stars that were chucked together. But this was a great match. Crowds were into it. They were on their feet. The action was fast-paced. There was obviously some spots in this match, but those spots never looked too set up. A couple of moments where I was like, probably could have done with that person getting out of the corner rather than just standing there and waiting to be hit. So there was a couple of those little type of moments. But by and large, this was a good match, really helped by the crowd because the crowd were just so into it. They were so passionate. And as I said, they were largely on their feet, certainly as the match was continuing. We got to an interesting part of the match, though, where Zoey actually rolled up Katana and thought she'd got the win. Katana then said to the referee, no, I made the tag. As I went against the ropes, I made the tag. I am not the legal person. She has just pinned the wrong person. Obviously, there was a lot of mystery and intrigue. What's going to happen now? We got the announcement that the match was going to restart. So we did actually joke during the watch along. We were joking like, oh, brilliant. That's everything we've just watched has been irrelevant. But it was just a joke because, in all fairness, everything had built up so well. The crowd, as you can see in the background, are on their feet. And people want to know which way this is going to go. Like, they've managed to hook people into this match. They've managed to get people's attention. No one was, like, just sitting there shrugging as this was playing out. Like, everyone cared. And they did it. I mean, they did a fantastic job. The match would continue for a bit. And I've seen this finishing move before. It's like a 450 splash type move by Katana. I think it's like I don't know if it's like a backbreaker or some kind, but she hit it, she landed it, she got the pin, and so the champions retained. This was so much fun. I mean, this set the night up perfectly. I was really into it. It had some added drama in there as well with, had we just got new champions? So really set the scene very well. So loved this opening. And this took up around about 20-25 minutes of the show. Then we got a little segment. This segment was obviously T-Bar. I don't think he's going to be T-Bar anymore. Dominik Dijakovic burning the mask. He actually said this second coming is not about retribution, which obviously is the group he used to be in. It's about justice, which I think is really interesting that he's angry and he wants justice. I kind of like that. I like the idea of him being out for himself and a bit, I don't want to say unhinged, but just he's going to take what's his rather than just playing along, playing along and being T-bar and sitting in catering and watching his career passing by. He's here to dish out some justice. And if there was justice in the world, then Dominik Dijakovic would be a big name. So I love this. I'm really into this. I think it's really interesting. There's no mystery as to who this is. There doesn't need to be. And I can't wait for him to come back and for us to get going with his second run. Then we got Wes Lee. A few little criticisms here. I kind of felt like he came out and he was very chit-chatty with the crowd. When Grayson Waller came out, because Grayson Waller would interrupt him, and Grayson Waller started talking, he just had a gravitas to his voice. Like, when he talks, you listen, because he's very good at projecting, getting his voice across, getting a message across. And I just kind of felt with Wes Lee, he was a bit chit-chatty, and it didn't have like much in the way of impact. I know like he had won the belt and he was like, come on guys, settle down. They were chanting, you deserve it. It's clear that he's got a nice relationship with the crowds, but this didn't have any impact, didn't have any intensity. He just was coming out and he was just quite chit-chatty, to be honest. And watching live, I was like, it's not really hitting this for me. It's not really doing it for me, this promo. And then Grayson Waller came out and he's just so good on the mic that you could see like it was a different level. So Grayson Waller came out. He said, you don't deserve a thing, and neither do they, pointing to the crowds. He would get in, and before we really got anywhere between Grayson and Wes Lee, we got a massive surprise, and that surprise was R-Truth. R-Truth's music played. He came down. This was an amazing moment because no one expected it. We probably should be expecting main roster stars now each week because we've been getting them each week. But R-Truth coming out was so much fun. And he made his way down. He was dressed as the Joker. He welcomed everyone to Halloween Havoc, which was brilliant because obviously that was the weekend just gone. And he then got into a bit of a back and forth with Grayson Waller. And he was like, oh, I love the British accent. And of course, the joke is that Grayson Waller is from Australia. And the crowd were chanting British accent, British accent. And he went, this is Australian. This is an Australian accent. And then the crowd were chanting, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. And they were just having so much fun with it. This was great. This was really, really great. I really enjoyed it. I think everyone in the watch along that was watching live really enjoyed it as well. And there was some real good back and forth, as we said, between R-Truth and Grayson Waller. And the end result of this is that it's going to lead to a match next week. So Grayson Waller said he would love to get his hands on R-Truth this week. I think he did end up swinging for him. He didn't connect. But the match was made for next week. So that was the first surprise, if you will. And as we said, we got a few on this show. Next up, we got Shotzi. Shotzi coming out. And as I said, again, on the watch-along, we do live watch-alongs for Raw, NXT, SmackDown, over on the main channel. She came out, and this was the smaller tank. So this is like her old tank. Her current tank, her big tank, I'm guessing is in a truck somewhere doing the rounds. But this was a smaller one. I don't know if this is one she brought from home. I don't know if this was just still at NXT from when she was there before. I have no idea, but she came out in the smaller tank. And she would be having a match against Lash Legends. Before we got to that match, though, we went to Apollo, who was backstage. He was saying that he can move on now from Grayson Waller. He was obviously victorious in the casket coffin match at Halloween Havoc. And now he's ready to take a step forward for what he's really here for. And that is the NXT Championship. He said Bron Breakker is on the show next week. And he's really looking forward to seeing what he's got to say. So it seems like Apollo wants to step up and challenge Bron. I think that's going to be a very interesting challenge. I really feel like Apollo would really benefit from winning the NXT title. I don't know that he will, but I think it would be a benefit for him to be the champ and to have a good run with the championship. I think that is exactly what he needs right now. So I am actually down for him winning the title. I think Braun is ready to go to the main roster. And even if he's not, I think he could drop the NXT title, have a couple of feuds, and, he'll be ready. And I think Apollo really would massively benefit by being champion, having some segments, maybe dressing quite sharp, coming out with the belt. I would love to see an Apollo Crews title reign. I know he's not the most engaging of superstars, but I feel like we can find a way forward with Apollo. He's very talented. He's pretty good on the microphone. His matches are always fine. But it's just a case of, if we give him the opportunity, will he run with the ball? Will he sink or will he swim? And I want to find out. So I would give him the opportunity, to be honest. We went back to the match. It wasn't the longest of matches. It was only a few minutes long. Quincy Elliott was out there as well in Shotzi's corner. And Shotzi got the win. She did like a DDT type move. Hooked the leg of Lash. Dropped into a DDT. And picked up the victory. 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, look, good for Lash to get experience of working with someone like Shotzi, who's on the main roster. But I think Lash winning would have been a little strange. It feels like Lash is a step or two behind in her development. So it feels like she needs more work, basically. So if she'd have got a win over Shotzi, it would have been a bit strange. But hopefully she learnt some stuff by just being in there with Shotzi. Then we got a promo from the Creed brothers. Love the Creed brothers. They're going to be a great team when they go to the main roster. And Julius was just basically saying, like, his hands are sore. His hands were, like, swollen and everything. You might remember that ambulance match at the weekend, the door being slammed repeatedly on his hands. His hands were all, like, bruised and everything. And he said that he's just so pleased he could get the win so that his brother can stay. And Brutus, thanked his brother, said he loved him, and said, he wants to get his hands on Damon Kemp now. Damon Kemp said that he would give Brutus 5 minutes in the ring with him if he lost. So Brutus wanted that. We did hear from Damon Kemp. Damon Kemp said he wasn't medically cleared. So that meant that we couldn't get that match this week. But it's coming. We know we're going to get it. We're going to get Brutus taking on Damon Kemp in, I'm guessing it's a 5-minute match or something along those lines. And that'll be interesting. That'll be really interesting. I love Creeds. I love Damon Kemp. I think they're amongst the most engaging parts of the show. I'm really into this story. But this story took a twist because before they could totally finish this segment, they were attacked. They were attacked by Veer and Sanga. So we don't know what this team's going to be called. They were Indi in the past, but we don't know what they're called. They certainly weren't being called that this time. So as we said, we're not too sure of the name yet, but love the look of these two as well. I think there's so many great teams in NXT. The tag division is looking really good. I mean, you've got Pretty Deadly. You've got the Creeds. You've got Indi you've got Schism to a degree, but we know that grizzled young veterans were very, very good. So, I mean, they're still grizzled young veterans, just under a different gimmick and a different name. So they're obviously still around as well. Briggs and Jensen. Never saw them this week, but they're a pretty decent team. Enofe, of course, and Blade. So there's a decent little tag division there that's bubbling away. So really into this. Can't wait to see where this goes. So then we got this. I wasn't really into this. This was chit chat. So you had Gigi Dolan getting a toxic tan. You had JC in the gym. You had Mandy in a car. And they were just chatting away. It was like, I felt like this was like a personal conversation they were having that wasn't interesting. And I didn't need it on TV, to be honest. But basically, we know that next week is going to be Mandy Rose's 1-year title celebration. So we're building towards that. So that'll be interesting next week. Then we got our second tag team championship match. This was the champions Pretty Deadly defending against Malik Blade and Edris Enofe. I really enjoyed this. If I'm being honest, I didn't think it was better than the first match, the opening match. I thought the women did a better job, but this was still really good. It was still a really entertaining match, and one that I would definitely go back and watch again. So I would go back and watch the first women's match. I would watch this, and spoiler, I would go back and watch the main event as well. The main event I thought was fantastic. It might have been the best of the three, but yeah, this was still really, really good. I still really enjoyed this, and Pretty Deadly retain. Then we got a really good promo actually from JD McDonagh, who was talking quite slow and calm. He was backstage, and they were showing footage of him from the past. You know, one of the reasons why he left NXT UK was because of Ilja, and so it was building up to our main event that was going to be Ilja Dragunov taking on JD McDonagh. I think there's a future for him. I really like this promo style for JD. I think if they keep doing this, that would be really good. I think that will work really well for him. I think he can do promos in ring, but I just thought this hit a little different, and it was quite intense, and it suits his character. And I thought this was a good episode for him because I really like this promo, and as I said, really enjoyed the main event. Then we went backstage, and obviously we had Zoey and Nikkita. They were both disappointed at losing the opening match, but she said that she's got a rematch. They've got a rematch, apparently. So I think there's going to be a rematch for these. Don't know if it's next week or not, but they are confident they'll get it next time. So I'm totally down for that. I mean, the first match was so good, and there was that kind of drama in there as well, that it makes me think that a rematch is justified in this case. So I'm actually no problems with the rematch. I'm totally down for it. Wow. Here we go then. This is a big, big moment. So I did a separate video already on the other channel, the main channel. Yeah, this is big. I thought this was going to be Isla Dawn. That was my prediction. We've been seeing this red hooded person quite a bit, and we didn't know who it was. And I thought it was Isla Dawn. And it's so funny looking back now, because this red hooded person was trying to hand out badges. And some of the crowd said, no, thank you. Now, if they realize who it was, they probably wouldn't have said no. They probably would have took it and would have wanted a picture as well, because there's every chance that this woman is going to be a big, big star in the future, because we got the reveal. Obviously, we knew we were going to get a reveal. I'll admit, even at this point here, I didn't have a clue who this was. But right here, I was actually trying to think if this was Isla Dawn, and I was like, I don't think it is. And I couldn't get a read of it. And it was Ava Raine. It was Ava Raine. Now, for those of you that don't know who Ava Raine is, that is The Rock's daughter. That is The Rock's daughter. And we've been waiting for her to make her debut. She spoke about how Schism have given her a home, given her family. It's so funny, isn't it? Because, of course, her family is one of the most famous families in the history of wrestling. And it's just kind of interesting that she's not going with the kind of Johnson surname. They've changed it to Ava Raine, which I think is a great name. I think just from a wrestling name, that is a great name. So Ava Raine, I really like the name. I know a lot of people are upset that she's not, Ava Johnson or something like that, or Baby Rock. I don't know. But I don't think you need that. Like, everyone knows or will know this is The Rock's daughter. Okay? All the wrestling fans know. So, like that, she's never going to escape that. But I understand she wants to be her own person. And actually, if you look at the criticisms that Charlotte Flair has had, a lot of people say she only got where she got because of her dad. So, I can understand her wanting to try and take a step. She'll never get that far away from him, but try and take a step away by having her own name, Ava Raine. And this is big. This is the first time we're seeing her. This is historic. I think she'll go on to have a great career. Obviously, I've not seen her wrestle yet, but they are not going to let her fail. There is no way that WWE are going to let her fail, because this is money right here. This is big money. This is the female Rock. I know that's a lot of pressure to put on her, and she's going to have to be an amazing promo and charismatic and captivating and all of that kind of stuff, and that's going to be hard. But if they can present her correctly, this is the female Rock. This is his daughter. He's like the biggest movie star in the world. I mean, Black Adam just came out, so I feel like this is very, very exciting news. Very exciting news. So, yeah, haven't seen her wrestle yet. Can't wait to see more from her. She did cut a little promo, but it was very short. You couldn't really judge off the little few sentences that she spoke. So obviously we're gonna have to wait and see next week. But I think people will want to tune in to see what she's going to be like, what she's going to say. I'm really excited about this. This was a big reveal, man. This was a big moment, and maybe a historic one that we will look back on when she made her first WWE appearance. This was funny. Then we got this. This was Performance Center call, and it was someone calling in, and it was like a robotic computer-voiced voice saying, "Let go of all your pain, washing away your deepest fears. Listen with your eyes." Just all real dark kind of stuff. Signed off, Scripps. So I don't know who Scripps is, but Scripps has signed off. I don't know if someone might get the voice and try and mess around with it. I mean, it's clearly not Bray related. But it's still interesting. These little mystery things, people love them. People love them. So I know, people might be like, "Oh, we've just finished with the Red Riding Hood thing, the red hooded person. Now we're starting a new mystery thing," but they work and people love them. So I'm down for this, actually. We'll see where this leads. Next match was Indi Hartwell. She came out and got a victory over Sol Ruca. We've seen Sol Ruca before. She is someone that loves surfing. She seems quite easygoing, and don't really know that much about her. We've only seen her once, maybe twice. She's probably on that NXT level up quite a bit, I would imagine. But yeah, Indi Hartwell getting a victory. But to be honest, the main focus here was not necessarily the match. It was Elektra Lopez. So you might remember Elektra Lopez was in Legado del Fantasma. Well, she didn't go up with that group. Well, she did. She thought she was, but she didn't. They ended up replacing her with Zelina Vega, and now she is back in NXT. Little disappointing, I would imagine, for her when she thought she was going to the main roster, but this in the long term might be better for her. So anyway, she attacked Indi, and she is back. So that was another little surprise. Then we got a Chase U moment. I love Thea Hale. If anyone knows anything about me, I love Thea Hale. I think she is awesome. I think she is so much fun. I think she is so animated. I think that I just really look forward to her segments because she's just so bubbly and so out there. She's got a big personality, and that is huge in wrestling. And it seems like they are trying to lean on that because she gets lots of TV time. You know, there's loads of people in NXT, and she gets a little segment every week pretty much. This time, Duke Hudson sat next to her, and she didn't have a pen, so he gave her his pen. Andre Chase had a go at Duke Hudson because he's like, "What, you come to my class and you don't even bring a pen?" But rather than dropping her in it, he was like, "I'm so sorry. I'll bring a pen next time." And she was trying to explain, no, it's my fault. It's my fault. But he was like, it's all right. I'll take the hit on this one. So he's clearly winning her over. I'm into this story. This is a good little story. I don't know where it's leading, but I'm into it. And anything that's going to involve Thea Hale, I am on board with. So good. Then we got Odyssey Jones. People are asking in the watch along about Odyssey Jones. Where is he? Well, he's partying, man. He's got a truck. He's got a truck full of women. That's what he's got. Don't need to worry about Odyssey Jones. He's got a truck full of women. But we saw, obviously, Malik Blade and Idris Enofe. They were sad. And Odyssey's like, come on, jump in here. We'll go hit the town. So they went off to have a great night. So, yeah, they were down about losing their tag title match, but they certainly weren't down for long. Then we got our main event match. This was brilliant. Got about 10 minutes. There was an overrun. We saw Ilja crashing into the commentary table and busting up his ribs. Didn't know if the match was going to continue. The medics were talking to him. We came back from a commercial break. Match was continuing. And basically this submission hold is applied. A bit like a crossface hold. And he just proper squeezes on it. And there's blood coming out the nose and the mouth. And it's all on the face of Dragunov. And it's such a hard-hitting encounter. There was loads of great moments in this. This was great. I mean, this was just great. This was about 10 minutes and it should have been an hour. It was brilliant. Like these two need to be on a pay-per-view. And yeah, just so good. This was the cherry on top in many ways. But basically JD gets the win. Ilja just seems to pass out. So yeah, they get the medics. They put Ilja on a stretcher. JD with a smile on his face. He didn't release the hold straight away either. Obviously being a bit of a heel, but just brilliant. Just all about this show was brilliant. I just really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I don't know what I would score it, but I would give it at least an 8 for me. At least an 8. And I might even go 8.25. I really, really enjoyed it. With that being said, let's jump over and see what you lot thought of it. I have not seen your scores. Again, we've got a nice number of responses. Let's have a look and see. We've got 9.5. Whoa! Jeez, Louise. Jeez. 9.5. The second most is 8.5, and then the third is 8. So, to be honest, my 8.25 is kind of nicely between, like, the second and the third most responses. But 9.5? Wow. Well, that's the official score then. We'll have a look, see what people have put in. Wow, someone's done a lot of work there, putting in a pumpkin. That's sweet. So, we've got a picture of Pumpkin. Fair play to whoever did that. Fair play. I wouldn't even know how you do that, to be honest. Fair play. Ava Raine, R-Truth, these are the things that people like. Tag matches were enjoyable. It was nice to see NXT grow in tag teams. You can see the chemistry building. Final match, surprise endings to the first match and the Ava Raine reveal. Women's tag title match and the reveal of The Rock's daughter. Roman's going to be undisputed champion. Great to see R-Truth on NXT. Very weird, said Hayden. Hard to pick, but I'd go main event. JD Ilja match was very good. Completely agree. JD main event. It was one of the best NXTs of the year. JD Ilja because it was brutal. Ava Raine and the main event. Women's tag match. Rock's hot daughter. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. Dragunov and JD main event. Rock's daughter. Ava Raine. Red Riding Hood main event. First match main event. Katana chance. JD. Ava Raine. And R-Truth. That's what people were loving. This is what people weren't so keen on. Nothing, to be honest. When would you bring Bray back? Well, to be honest, I don't think this is quite the right place for that conversation. But I would take my time with it, is my answer. I would take my time with it. I wouldn't be in any rush. I think the first match would probably be at Survivor Series, which that's not even that far away, to be honest. But I think there's a lot of people that need to be revealed when it comes to Bray. A lot of backstories that are going to be needed. We need to explore a lot of relationships. So for me, Crown Jewel is way too soon. So I would be doing and aiming at something for Survivor Series. No Carmelo Hayes, but this is good chance that he'll be in the main roster. The Toxic Attraction, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't anything. What's happened with Tiffany Stratton? Last match I saw was a street fight against Wendy Chu. She got injured in that match. So she's been out with, I don't know what the injury is, but she's been out with injury. Rock's daughter made her surprise debut. No Toxic Attraction, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez. Not sure. I don't think I have any bad points. Lyons and Stark not winning the belts. Nikkita and Zoey losing. The Performance Center phone call was someone's least favorite part. Nothing. It was an excellent NXT. Enofe and Blade losing. The Toxic Attraction chat. Shotzi against Lash. The men's tag title match. Indi Hartwell versus Sol Ruca is her name. Shotzi versus Lash. The men's tag match. Me not being there. The Toxic Girl chat. Toxic Attraction. Shotzi versus Legends. No Austin 316 in the chat. Women's tag, not much. Joe Gacy, no idea, and absolutely nothing. So, I mean, look, you can see people just really, really enjoyed this show, and totally understandable. I loved it as well. So there we go. That was this week's NXT review. Let's see what they've got for us next week. Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.